On Deji 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that planet.
Deji 360, providing clarity to issues.
Welcome back. Let's talk more about the APC primaries, but from a wider angle. The party's governorship primaries has also faced some challenges in Imo, Zamfara, Delta, Rivers, and Ogun states. In Imo State, 2 candidates emerged from parallel primaries. One primary announced Uche Nwosu, an in-law to the current governor, Rochas Okorocha, as winner, while another announced Hope Uzodinma, a serving senator, as winner. Now, both victories have now been nullified and declared illegal. While in Zamfara, the primary was also cancelled after it was marred by violence and irregularities. In Delta, Rivers, and Ogun State, 2 candidates emerged, but the party has now adopted 1 candidate. In Ogun, the party's National Working Committee chose Dakpo Abiodun as the candidate. Incumbent Ibikunle Amosu wanted Adekunle Adeleke as the candidate. Tonye Cole was chosen as Rivers candidate and Great Ogboru as the candidate for Delta State. Senator Marcus Abe and Professor Pat Utomi were the parallel candidates of Rivers and Delta States respectively. While those were the decisions of the party, and the aggrieved candidates may now challenge the ruling. But joining me now to discuss this further is political affairs analyst Nelson Ekujumi. Okay, so let's start from Imo State. The primaries were conducted, and it turned out that 2 winners emerged. That Senator Hope Uzodinma and Uche Nwosu, who is also the son-in-law to Rochas Okorocha. So what do you think about this? I mean, Imo State is not just the only area where this happened. It was also saw the same thing in Ogun. But what does this tell about the roof of APC, these controversies we're seeing?
Well, thank you very much. I think what it shows to all of us is that we have political actors who we should call desperados, people who are desperate, who are not ready to play by the rules. Because ordinarily, the primaries in every state is expected to be conducted by the legally recognized state executives of the party. And that primary, in conducting it by the state executive of the party, is to be supervised by the National Working Committee panel. And it must have INEC in attendance with an observer status.
All right.
So if anybody has, conducted a primary outside these stipulated bodies recognized by law, I think that person is taking a walk in the park. But be that as it may, we operate a system today, we are operating a democratic system in which we don't have people who are ready to obey or live by the tenets of democracy. That democracy can only flourish when people are orderly, when people obey the law. Democracy cannot flourish when it is my will. It is what I want. I don't want to know what the book says. And, we operate a constitutional democracy. Whether it's a political party, whether it's a business organization, you must have your rules and regulations. And where anybody or any of your staff or any of your member goes against the rule, that person is running, an illegal act. Is going outside the rules. So in this case, what has happened in Imo, it's an unfortunate development because one, even if the young man Uche Nwosu wants to become the governor of the state, despite the blood affinity being the son-in-law to the governor, one will expect that such a person must be a card-carrying member of the party.
All right.
And he should go and test his popularity with members of the party. So that also applies to the other man, Senator Uzodinma, that look, it is about the party, it is about the interest of the party as a whole, and not about your own personal interest or your emotions. So in this case, one expects that, because right now one doesn't know where INEC was present, but we know that INEC will only be present in one, which means one of the primary conducted was legal, while the other one was illegal.
All right, so what's interesting here is Ahmed Guluk's involvement in all this.
Gulak.
Yes, Gulak. He was the chairman of the gubernatorial poll in Imo. And then a lot of things happened. You know, we saw him run to Abuja, alleging threats to his life. He said they were going to kill him and that he kidnapped about 9 members of his party and of his panel. And then eventually, when he got to Abuja, he announced the result, saying Uzodinma was the winner. And then we saw that the secretary of that same panel later that day declared someone else the winner. And something else is that when he eventually went to the commissioner of police when he went to Abuja, they saw extra ballot papers with him. And they asked him why, and he said that the reason was because if they had a tie in the election, those extra ballot papers were to serve to conduct the elections. But do you think his reason is justifiable?
It's not justifiable in any sense.
Right.
Because the election was conducted in Imo State. And rationality, common sense, dictates that the results of that election should be announced in Imo State. So him announcing election result conducted in Imo in Abuja, I don't think is valid. It can stand in the court of law if it is challenged, because he has gone outside the jurisdiction where election was conducted. Are we sure that the results he announced in Abuja was the results he got from Imo State? So it calls to question the integrity of even members of that panel. And also, this is a member of a panel that he has the opportunity of being availed of all the security apparatus of the state, because he was sent by the national body of the party. And if he had informed the national body of the party about the threat to his life, I'm sure they would have told him, go write a letter or make a phone call to the commissioner of police in that state, to the director of DSS, and they would have provided him extra security.
Not fleeing from the state.
Fleeing from the state, it opens him, makes him vulnerable to people's suspicion about the credibility of the exercise. So that is why, if you have observed the public space of late, people have come out to question the integrity of Ahmed Gulak, saying, go and look at his antecedents. So what he has done in this case is not tenable, it's not defensible, that an election, a gubernatorial primary, was conducted in Imo. Right. You now have to flee to Abuja to go and announce the result. And, even in announcing the result, members of your panel are also not on the same page, which means that something is definitely wrong somewhere. And, that is why we must commend the national body of the party, for disbanding the Amegula committee, because what they have done is that, they have, brought the party to disrepute in the eyes of the public.
And the thing now is, if maybe this issue occurred just in one state, we would say, okay, maybe it was just an anomaly in one situation. But we've seen this issue replicate itself in several other primaries, in APC primaries in Nigeria. I mean, look at the Ogun State primary, for example. I mean, Dr. Abiodun and Adekunle Adeleke were both declared winner. And we know that the governor of the state supports one, just exactly what happened in Imo. And this is the same issue.
You see, I laid the premise for what is happening. That we have a society today where we are practicing democracy without democrats. The rules of the party says that the state executive will conduct the primary, but they will be supervised by a national working committee panel from the national, because the national working committee of the party does not have the resources and the men to conduct the primary, because the primaries were conducted in the wards of the local governments. So the state executive of the party is to conduct the primary. The national working committee panel of maybe 5 or 6 or 7, at most it won't be more than 10, are just to go around and observe that the primary is being conducted in line with laid down regulations. And when the election has been concluded, the announcement of results can only emanate from the chairman of the National Working Committee panel. Any other person reading any results, it's just reading the script, written by him, and not what the election that was conducted.
But anyway, it seems that things might be resolved soon. I mean, Oshomole has announced that the elections have been cancelled and that they were going to set up a committee to make sure that the next primaries would be fair and fair. And something he said that really struck me was, he said that he was going to make sure that the new panels they would set up would be people who cannot be compromised.
Well, I believe they will look at the character and the pedigree of the members of the new panel they are going to set up. And one should just hope that, even though they believe, or the chairman believes, they cannot be, or they will not be compromised. It is also very important for them, to monitor these new panel members, such that we won't have one, being a mole, such that, they will live up to the billing. But it is not impossible that they might be tempted. We just hope, like the chairman of the party has said, that they will be strong enough to resist the temptation of being compromised. Because, we live in interesting times that, somebody that you can vouch for yesterday could turn around and be something else tomorrow.
Exactly. Do you think they can find people who are uncompromisable?
No, they can't because,
So why did they not constitute them at first?
No, they have so many, now the primaries have been conducted and concluded in 24 states. Now the number of states where they have issues are fewer. So it means members of the panels in those states where they perform creditably, they can now draw from that pool and use for this. So that
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so we do hope that this gets resolved as soon as possible, because we want to see unity. Because definitely, one way or another, the actions or the activities of these polls, I think it might go a long way in affecting the bigger one. Yes, the
truth of the matter is that we must recognize one fact: a political party is a conglomeration of interests. And these interests at times could clash. There could be conflict. But the greater responsibility for the party is to rally members around the common cause. It is even in a marriage, just two quarrel, conflict occurs.
Yes.
Not to talk of when you have a party that you have over 1 million members. So conflict must always rear its head. But the party must put in place mechanism so that when conflict occurs, the dispute resolution mechanism must be in top shape. Because so long as human beings are involved, self-preservation, like they say, is the first law of humanity. It is not impossible, or it is not unnatural that man, in the midst of the collective interest, will be aspiring for personal interest. But at every point in time, the message must be clear that, look, why we are here is not because of your own personal interest. Every one of us has a personal interest, but we must subsume our personal interests under the collective interest.
Exactly.
I think that's the way to go.
Exactly. Well, that's it on the program. You can watch it again on our website at www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/TV360Nigeria for more videos and updates, or join us on Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter at TV360 Nigeria. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week.